Aretha Franklin, A Brand New Me with the Royal Philharmonic Orchestra. The Queen of Soul sings 14 classic songs with brand new orchestral arrangements. Aretha Franklin, A Brand New Me, out now.
Blog Talk Radio.
Favorite time of year. Santa Claus, the elves, and the reindeer are ready for the trip of good cheer. They're gonna share some toys with good girls and boys. Santa Claus comes each and every year. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Why we love Christmas, you ask? Gotta be the story of three wise men. They followed a bright star years ago to the city of Bethlehem. Came upon a stable where baby Jesus lay, the Savior to all men. That's why we all love Christmas time. Merry Christmas to the great I am. The cold winds may blow, yeah, and it may snow. If Jack Frost anywhere near, the trees are decorated from the bottom to the top, with an angel way up there. Yeah, we all love Christmas. There's magic in the air. Strangers on the street greet each other happily, while others help those in despair. Streets are lined with decorations. There's goodwill, charity everywhere. That's why we all love Christmas time. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Everybody say Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is Saturday night. This is Off the Chain. I am your host, Yvonne Mason, and that was How We Love Christmas, and it was written and performed by my guest tonight, country music artist Daniel Paul. But before we get to him, see, I can't talk. I've been screaming for the last 3 hours for the new SEC champions. Go Georgia Bulldogs. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, they finally won the SEC championship. I am tickled to death. But that being said, I have some great news. We are like 1,000 listeners away from 100,000 listeners on this show, with this show and all the podcasts. We're heard in over 70 countries. This show's not my show. It is your show, ladies and gentlemen. It's you, the listener. It's my guest. I'm just a facilitator, and y'all have made it happen, and I am so, so humbled and proud. Our biggest listener on the show is from Australia, and I thank them so very, very much for their continued support. And I continue to support a band that comes out of Australia. It's called the Teskey Brothers, and they're a blues band. And if you haven't heard them, why not? Because they could have been born on Bourbon Street. They're a mixture of Johnny Lang and B.B. King and Robert Johnson and Eric Clapton and all the greats that are out there. So if you haven't heard them yet, go and look them up and get their music. Now, if you want to, and you're not afraid to be on this show, because I promise I don't have you for dinner the first show. I'll wait to the second or third show. Contact me on offthechainsradio@yahoo.com, and I'll get you on the show. If you are too shy to be on the show, and I don't know why anybody would be, you can go to advertisecast.com and look up Off the Chain and look for my rates. They're very inexpensive. Your advertisement will be played on every show that I have in that month, and I usually run 4 shows a week, so your advertisement will be heard at least 16 times. You cannot beat that for my pricing, because anywhere else it would cost you at least $1,000. With me, the most $100. So do you want to get out there, ladies and gentlemen, or not? It's up to you. Now, on January the 5th at 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Investigation Discovery Channel, there is a show called Married with Secrets. I will be on that show. So put that on your calendar. On December the 11th, which is a Monday night, at 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, I will have a very special guest that I will be interviewing, and that's best-selling author James Swain. So you want to be there for that. Now then, on to tonight's show. The marvelous voice you heard was country music artist Daniel Paul. He is an artist, a songwriter, a guitar player, and a producer. He was born Daniel Paul Gilbert in Muskegon, Michigan, and he started playing guitar when he was about 10 years old. He is an Air Force veteran, and I thank him for his service. I love my veterans. He lived for many years in Colorado Springs, Colorado. He has a background in sales and marketing, and he's lived for over 7 years in Nashville, Tennessee. He met with songwriter-artist Robert Burgeis, and those two became great friends. Together, Robert and Daniel Paul recorded Under the Nashville Moon, Dance a Little Jig, and Paradise for Two. Among other Nashville songwriting friends are Tony Stampley, Garrett Walker, which has been on this show, David Pahanish, and many others who gave him moral support to keep writing. He's back and forth to Nashville, riding a rainbow with lots of his great music to be shared with the world. The Daniel Paul Band is made up of friends of Daniel Paul, and you might be surprised at who some of those friends are. We're going to find out the skinny on that. Late 2017, Daniel Paul Band released Under the Nashville Moon CD on cdbaby, Spotify, iTunes, and many more music sites. And we know that y'all like his country music. Daniel, welcome to my show. Thank you so much for coming and sharing an hour with me tonight.
Thank you for having me tonight.
Well, I'm going to tell you what, this time of year is not my favorite time of year. I'm more of a Halloween freak, but that song just lifts me up. It just made me smile.
Well, I'm so glad to hear that.
What made you write such a beautiful, beautiful song? You brought in everything from Santa Claus to Jingle Bells to the birth of Christ to the New Year. How in the world did you do that?
Well, I sat down one day and I thought, I've got to have a Christmas song. And this is the only Christmas song I've ever written. It took me about a day and a half to write it and revise it, and went in the studio and started recording it. About a week altogether.
it's a beautiful, beautiful song, and it's uplifting, it's light, and it makes you want to sing and dance.
Yeah, I was watching my engineer, Robert Burgeis, in Michigan, Jenison, Michigan, at Fast Tracks Recording Studios. He has a 3-year-old son, and him and his wife are both country fans, and Robert told me that they just couldn't get enough of the Fishing Pole song, which is Final Request. We haven't played that yet, and How We Love Christmas.
Well, I can understand that.
It makes me feel real good. I mean, I get a bigger return and pleasure out of watching people like my music than you don't. I never look at the money end of it because sometimes you don't make any. But to watch people enjoy what you've created that nobody else has created on this earth is just a phenomenal joy to me.
Well, let's talk about that. Now, you picked up a guitar when you were 10 years old. And before the show, you and I were talking about you weren't born with a guitar in your hand, but I take that back because 10 years old is not too far from being born. What in the world brought that on, and how did you get this far? Because I know that journey and that industry is one of the toughest, most unforgiving journeys one can have.
Well, it all started, I love singing, and my grandparents, my mom's dad and mother both loved watching musical shows like Lawrence Welk and Tennessee Ernie Ford, and they were big fans of Tennessee Ernie Ford and that. And I used to sing right along, and I remember sitting in their living room, and I didn't have any money. Of course, I was young. I was probably only 8 years old, 9 years old then, and I took a yardstick and I got a bunch of different sized rubber bands and that I could try and stretch, and I cut the yardstick down, and they all made a little different sound, and that was my first guitar.
Wow. Now, necessity is the mother of invention, and it just goes to prove that you can make a musical instrument out of anything.
That's correct.
How impressive is that?
Well, it was a kid's dream.
So, once you did that, and once you got bitten by the bug, what happened next?
Well, my mom and dad got me a cheap guitar. I think it was an airline guitar, acoustic guitar, and got me some lessons. And after about 6 months to about a year of lessons, I went ahead and bought all the Mel Babe there was, and I stopped going to classes and teaching, and I just taught myself from that point on. And then people like Johnny Cash and the Beatles and the Monkees and you name it, Rolling Stones, I sat down with the records and learned every guitar lick I could possibly learn.
Now, in your case, it worked out beautifully because apparently you have a natural ear for music, and I would venture to guess that many of the country artists do have a natural ear for music. Some people don't, and it would be very difficult for them to do what you did. So lessons for them would be the way to go. But if one has a natural ear, would it be a fair statement to say, follow your own instincts and do what you did?
Well, once you get the basic chords and bar chords and that, and the basic timing and the rhythms and that, if you've got a good ear, you can take and listen to a variety of artists and learn what they're the best teachers. You can listen to it over and over again and practice it over and over again. My dad used to get tired of hearing Eric Clapton because of that. I listened to him when I was in my rock and roll stage in my teen years.
I love it because Clapton's one of my favorite artists. Now,
yes.
you didn't become, And I am using this word with love because as far as I am concerned, you are a successful star. You didn't become a successful star overnight. You held a variety of jobs. You worked for a radio station. You owned your own ad agency. So now that you are here, you are more knowledgeable about how to market your work and how to get your work out there than most people. Would that be a fair statement?
Well, I have the basics of how to go about it. It's changed a lot. I've had a couple of records on radio stations that I put out to the radio stations myself years ago, and I booked $16,000-$17,000 worth of shows with the last one I did. But it's a challenge, and you know, everything you got to have the basics of how the industry works, and that, and a lot of blood, sweat, and tears went into it.
And a lot of dedication.
And a lot of dedication, yes.
And a lot of pulling up your big boy panties when things start going south and saying, okay, I'm just going to keep putting one foot in front of the other.
That's correct.
Now, your influences are totally amazing. I did a deep dive on you, and you were influenced on the countryside by Jason Aldean and my all-time favorite Brantley Gilbert and Hank Williams Jr., George Strait, and Kenny Chesney. How did those particular individuals play in your journey? Because they all have different approaches to country, and they all sing it different, but they all sing country.
Yeah, that was something that I did. There was Eddie Rabbitt was a big favorite of mine too, and of course the Eagles, which weren't kind of semi-country maybe in some aspects, but I listened to them all and listened to what they did and how they did it, and appreciated why they did some of the things they did. I could almost tell you why they did it from listening to it. And I just, I molded that all together, and I said, I'm going to take and find the right combination of songs for myself. And I'm there now. I've got probably enough songs recorded right now for a second album, or going to be another second album.
Sweet. Well, I want to play Final Request. That would be the second song we play, because when I was listening to this song, I could see this song in my head. It became a story. I could see you standing in front of that judge saying, this is my final request and this is why. And ladies and gentlemen, y'all just hang on, because this song is going to take you on a ride. It's called Final Request, and it is by Daniel Paul, and it is an absolute hoot.
You say our love is going away. Ain't nothing I can do or say. So honey, won't you grant this final request? Don't take my fishing pole. It goes with my fishing hole. And I need my remote control. It goes with my TV. I need my pickup truck for when I get that 10-point buck. And with a little luck, I'll find a new love for me. 15 years of good times and bad times. 3 kids in 2 cars in the garage. I have no regrets, but I have one final request. Please won't you grant this final request to me? Come on, Judge. Don't take my fishing pole. It goes with my fishing hole. And I need my remote control. It goes with my TV. I need my pickup truck for when I get that 10-point buck. And with a little a few more fishing days. Life is a four-letter word. That's not always a bad thing. Love is a must. That's four letters I do trust. Please won't you grant this final request to me? Come on, Judge, don't take my fishing pole. It goes with my fishing hole. And I need my remote control. It goes to my TV. I need my pickup truck for when I get that 10-point buck. And with a little luck, I find a new love for me. You know when life goes astray and love goes away, you might find yourself with a few more fishing days. I said when life goes astray and dreams go away, you might find yourself with a few more fishing days.
Now, if that song doesn't make you want to get up and not only tap your foot, but do a little dancing, I don't know what will. That is one of the cutest songs. It's got the best hook of a country song I've heard in a long time.
Thank you very much.
How did that song come about?
Well, that's a true story song.
Somehow I knew that.
Yeah, I was married for about 16 years, and I adopted two boys from her previous marriage, and because my mom and dad thought I was crazy, but I told them, I says, they're great kids, and every boy needs a dad. And so I adopted the two boys, and at that time I was working for the TCI cable industry at the time. And I hummed that song for 3 years, well, actually 4 years before I even started thinking about recording it. And anyways, everything in the song is very much true. And it came to life. Actually, about 7 years after I wrote it. I went down to Nashville to record it, and we recorded a bunch of other songs. We never recorded that. We were always going to do it, but we never got to it. So when I came back to Michigan, a friend of mine owns one of the largest recording studios here in Jenison, Michigan, and I said, I've got to record the song. And he said, okay. So we sat down, and we laid some tracks down and put it together, and it came out, and it turned out perfect. It came out exactly how I heard it in my head.
Well, and I see, I mean, it's like a movie flipping around in my head. Every time I listen to that song, I see the courtroom. I see someone standing in front of a judge, and the judge is giving his final verdict, and he's awarding the woman everything under the shining sun, including the fishing pole, the remote to the TV, and the pickup truck, and the guy standing there going, but Judge, I need these things. Because I need these things, and this is why. And it becomes a comedy in my head.
Yeah, it kind of was. Before I forget about it, I'll tell you, here's a cute story. You know, here I was in Nashville, heart of Nashville, and I had all the pickers and players thousands I could choose from, and we didn't record that song. Well, I came back to Michigan when I recorded it, and we got all the tracks done. I says, oh, my gosh, I got to have a steel player. And so I thought, and one of my long-distant old friends was a steel player, and I called him up. I said, would you do me a favor and can we go to the studio? His name is Leroy Golden. And he says, sure. So I dropped him off a CD, and that following week we went in, and within 45 minutes we had the tracks down. And I really appreciate him. I'll tell you, he was a lifesaver.
Well, since we're talking about some of the people on your CDs, Who are some of the band members that you've used on these CDs? Because I'm going to tell you, the music is just mind-blowing.
Well, there's a lot of them. Like a good high school friend of mine plays every instrument you can think of in Michigan here, and his name is Frank Warwick. He's actually takes horn. He plays trumpet too. He takes horn lessons from some of the biggest stars that when we were growing up, horn players from Grassroots and some of the other players in that, and some of the players down there that played on the song "No One Else for Me, Only You." I think that's one you're going to play tonight.
I'm playing that one next.
Yeah, that actually, there's a story to that. I couldn't get into the studio. A friend of mine had, Robert Burgeis in Nashville, has his own studio. He's an artist and songwriter also, and he has a studio in his home, and couldn't get in. We couldn't get together in that, so I went in and got a hold of a man named Jim Sales. And I went down and put the vocal tracks and guitar tracks in, and we passed that one back and forth between about 5 different studios that people played drums or people played fiddle or steel or whatever keyboards in Nashville. And I guess the piano player from that played on that was actually one of the piano players that played on some of Johnny Cash's last final songs. And
wow.
He's doing this for something to do in his retirement days, I think. And that's so, but Jim Sales did a great job. We recorded, I think it was 2 or 3 songs with him. And he said, this is not a demo by no means. He says, everything I record just like I'm doing it for a major label. And he was not stretching the truth by any means, as you can hear when you
well,
listen
let's
to it.
play this song, because I want to tell you, when this song is over with, I want to tell you my take on this song, because it struck a chord with me.
Yeah, I was going to tell you this song.
There's been good times and some bad times. Yes, there's been a few. Short on money, I need you, honey. You always know what to do. You take my hand and say a prayer to the angels all around. You know they're up above, watching me. Darling, there's no one else for me. It's so easy to see. There's no one else for me, only you. It is written in the stars, no matter where you are. There's no one else for me. Throw your hair back, put on your jeans, wear my old flannel shirt. No matter what you do, no one could ever compare to go walking, do some talking, flirt like we used to do. We are dreaming of a future, Lord, let this dream come true. I will take your hand and say a prayer to the angels all around. You know they're up above,
I didn't. As soon as you started talking, the song started playing, so I couldn't turn it off. But I'm going to tell you, Daniel, the first time I heard that song when I was getting ready to put it up in the queue, there were two things that struck me. One, the man that I'm married to has loved me all of our lives, and we found each other after 30 years. That tells our story. Two, as I'm listening to this song, Don Williams comes to mind.
Well, Don Williams was a big influence on me too. In my days, there's many people I listened to. I listened to them all, but that song I actually wrote with the main intention of pitching it to George Strait. And by the time that we got it recorded and I got it ready to get it out to a friend of mine who said he could probably get it to him, George came out that week before actually, we were going to send it, and said that he was retiring.
Well,
I thought
good thing he retired, and good thing he didn't get it, because I don't think he could do the song the justice that you do it.
Oh, thank you.
I mean, that song is one of the most beautiful songs I have ever heard in my entire life. And when I played that song, I played it twice before I uploaded it to the audio clipboard of the switchboard. And the more I listened to it, the more I'm thinking, this man was influenced by Don Williams because it has that tone and that softness and that punch that Don Williams songs have.
Yeah, it does. That song is real special to my wife and I. My wife Alice. We got in a car accident. I had to have 3 titanium discs put in my neck, and unfortunately, I was not able to work anymore. And so that's how I came back to songwriting, because I can do that anytime, whether I wasn't picking up heavy things. So that song, we went through a lot of trials and tribulations after that, and that's how we ended up in Nashville. But just thinking, well, I'm going to be a songwriter, I might as well be a songwriter in Nashville.
Might as well. That's the heartbeat of country. When you think about that, Nashville is the heartbeat of country. In fact, on your page, and I could be wrong, but did I not see a photograph of you with one of my all-time favorites, Little Jimmy Dickens?
Yes, I went to a silent auction that he had donated quite a few things, and I heard through a friend of mine that he was going to be there, and I hadn't seen him in many, many years. And I don't know if it just happened that we ended up sitting next to each other at the bar and during the silent auction in Nashville. And when he went out to the car, I walked out with him, and I asked him, he got in the car, and I said, "Oh, God, I forgot to get a picture with you, Jimmy." And he says, "Oh, no problem." He got out of the car and stood tall and picture.
You know, he might have been small in stature, but the man was a mountain in the country music industry.
Yes, he was. And boy, the stories he could tell you about the industry were fascinating.
I bet, because he was there. I'm 66 years old, and when I was a little girl in the 50s, the only thing that we listened to on the radio, because it was an AM radio when we were in the car with my mother and dad, was country music. And it was Little Jimmy Dickens, and it was all the old greats when, as my mother said, Yvonne, it was like hearing cats holler, because it was country twang. It was country. And they told a story, and I always loved to hear him sing.
Yep. He had the energy and fire in his soul.
Yes, he did. He certainly did. And for you to have been able to have been friends with him is just one of those things you can never replace in your life.
Right.
Now, I want to play, because I wanted to get all four of these songs in, I want to play Under the Nashville Moon, because this is the title of the CD, correct?
Correct.
And then
Without
when we...
go ahead.
When we get through playing it, then let's talk about it, because I want to know how this CD came about. But I want to get this song in because it is absolutely beautiful. So everybody just hold on to your hats.
When I first got to Nashville, an old man said to me, welcome to heaven on earth, the songwriter's destiny. Many folks come to this old town to find the fame of a tune. And in the great they'll be singing, picking guitar under the Nashville moon. Some people call me crazy, others call me a fool. They just don't understand the kind of work I do. I smoke, drink, pick guitar at night, writing country tunes. My heaven on earth is singing, picking guitar under the Nashville moon. Pour a cup of coffee, drink a shot of whiskey, smoke another cigarette. I ain't afraid of nothing, 'cause nothing ain't done kill me yet. I'm a lucky guy, but I ain't no better than you. My heaven on earth is singing, picking guitar under the Nashville moon. Heaven on earth is singing, picking guitar under the Nashville moon. Cup of coffee, drink a shot of whiskey, smoke another cigarette. I ain't afraid of nothing, 'cause nothing ain't done kill me yet. My, oh my, I'm a lucky guy to have friends just like you. Sitting here singing, picking and drinking under the Nashville moon. Yeah, heaven on earth is singing, picking guitar under the Nashville moon. Come to Nashville, go out and look at the moon. Late at night there might be a concert starting very soon. Patsy Cline, John Cash, Waylon Jennings, Hank Williams Sr. too. They might play a concert under this old Nashville moon. Yeah, heaven on earth is singing, picking guitar under the Nashville moon.
Now, if that song doesn't make you want to get up and dance, ladies and gentlemen, then you got to be dead, because my foot started tapping from the first strumming of the guitar. Where in the world, Daniel, did you come up with that beautiful piece of music?
Well, a friend of mine who was a promoter and a publisher, he and I kind of worked together. We kind of worked together, and he said, "I've got a friend of mine that knows the producer of Hank Jr. You got anything you want to pitch to Hank Jr.?" And I said, "No, but I can go home and write one." "How long do I have?" He says, "Well, he's probably going to be looking for a couple weeks." Well, I went home that night and thought about it. I said, "I'm going to write a song kind of like what maybe Hank Jr. went through in his life." And so I wrote it, had it done in the morning. That was like on a Thursday. Went in the studio, or no, Wednesday, and we went in the studio, Robert Burgeis and I, who, without Robert Burgeis, that song never would have came there. He and I were going through some tough times in Nashville, and he says, oh, come on, I'll help you. So we recorded it and got it done on Saturday, and we needed a fiddle in it. And he says, I got a friend of mine, Greg Perkins, and he says, we called his studio, and he says, just bring it over. This was about 10 o'clock at night. Can you be here by midnight? So we brought the hard drive from one studio to the other one, and he listened to it twice. He said, I hope you're pitching this to Hank. And I said, yeah. He says, so anyways, he put the fiddle part down. We went home, and the next day I called the publisher friend of mine and didn't get a return call, and called him Monday and didn't get a return call. And come find out his son had a brain aneurysm, so we missed the deadline for it to get it to Hank Jr., but then he didn't, I don't know if he'll ever do it or not, but it made a heck of a song for me.
It certainly did, and it's again, there's a movie dancing around in my head. If I were a romance writer, that's a perfect storyline for a romance writer. Country music star, cross lover, Under the Nashville Moon. I mean, that song has so many possibilities in it, and on top of that, it's a good two-step song.
Yeah, when the show Nashville first came on the air, when they announced it, I tried to get it to them many times, and without any success. But I think I'm better off that they didn't use it, but. It's got a lot of possibilities. It's always been one of my favorites.
It is. I'm going to tell you, Daniel, all of your music has a uniqueness to you, but it also brings in the influences of the people that you studied and that you became familiar with. Because you're right, that is a Hank Jr. influence, just like No One Else For Me is a Don Williams influence. It doesn't mean you sound like them, but you can hear that beautiful influence in that music, and that's what makes it so unique to you, because you put your spin on it.
Yeah, thank you.
I just love it, and anybody that doesn't want to pick you up, shame on them, because I see you being extremely successful even as an indie artist.
Yeah. Well, I did it because I thought maybe I'd make a few dollars at it, but it's more of a love of music to create things that nobody else has ever heard.
Well, and I don't think you could not create music, because it's like my writing. I can't not write because the voices in my head won't shut up, and I'm sure it's the same with you and the creation of songs and chords and putting it all together. You would go crazy if you couldn't write music.
That's probably true. I've quit playing and singing and writing years ago, and for about 4 years, and I just about drove myself crazy because I thought there's something definitely missing in my life. And it was, I started writing and playing music again, and that was it.
You have to have that. That's, for lack of a better phrase, that's your drug of choice. That is what sustains you. That's what keeps you going. That's what breathes life into your soul, is the music.
And I've written many songs, but the thing of it is none of them actually started coming alive until after I met my wife, Alice, and she started believing in me. She believed in me from the first time we met. She also writes a country gospel music. We've got a couple of hers recorded, but when we were down in Nashville, friends of mine come in and gave me a half a day or two of working time, and they actually did most of the music because of the fact that I was in the other studio recording my songs.
Well, now, do you go and do live performances? in Nashville or in Michigan or in between?
I have not. Well, actually, I do open mic type things and that, and just pop in when somebody's got an open mic. I'll stop in just for the heck of it and do 2 or 3 acoustic guitar songs. And that at some of the, I find the breweries in Michigan, they've got a lot of breweries here around here now, and I go into some of them and that and do open mic nights, and it's not Nashville, but it's pretty close.
Well, you need to start booking some gigs in and around Nashville and all points in between, because I'm going to tell you what, Daniel, your music needs to be out there. People need to hear you. They need to see you. They need to meet you. Y'all need to go buy his CDs. No, you can't go now because you don't know where to go buy them, but we're going to tell you in a little bit. Because your brand of music is refreshing, and it's nostalgic, and it's old school, and it's new school, and it's all points in between. And this is what we need in country music now.
Yeah, I've got some pickers that would like to take and put some things together and do some casinos tours, shows, but I'm just waiting to see how people react and how the CD actually goes.
Well, you know what? I'm making a prediction. Stop testing the waters and jump in. It's fine. The water's fine. It ain't too hot and it ain't too cold. Just take your pickers and go book some gigs and put yourself out there, because if you play, they will come. And when they come, they will buy.
Okay. I'll take that to heart.
I'm serious as a heart attack, because if you let an opportunity pass, it won't come around again. And your music is it needs to be, you need to be out there. You need to just take your pickers and say, okay, let's go book this gig and let's go play it. Take some of your CDs with you, because people will buy them. I guarantee you people are going to start buying your music from this show tonight, because it's different. It's unique. It's wonderful.
Well, thank you very much.
I know I'm going to go find it, because I love it.
There's a song on the album that I pitched to Jason Aldean, and everybody thought it would be a Jason Aldean cut, but it didn't make it. But it's like everything else, I blow it up and that and finish it up, and it's kind of got that Jason Aldean feel to it, but it's nothing like what he's done, but it's feel.
So let me ask you something. There is an old adage that goes, if one person calls you a jackass, you pretty much can ignore it. If 2 people call you a jackass, you might want to start thinking about it. If 3 people call you a jackass, guess what? You're a jackass. So I'm going to take that and put it in another perspective. Okay, you tried to pitch a song to George Strait. He was retired. You tried to pitch a song to Hank Williams Jr., and it didn't happen. You tried to pitch a song to Jason Aldean. It didn't happen. So in the face of the jackass analogy, it's time to pitch it to yourself and put it out there for you.
Well, that's why I put the CD out. I wanted to see if people would like what I was doing, and so far it's gone over really well.
So now it's time to book some gigs, my friend. It's time to just say, okay, you know, in Texas Hold'em, it's time to go all in. Yeah,
I think that's getting there. I think it's getting to that point.
And as my grandmother used to say, Yvonne, you can't be sitting on the fence. You get on one side or the other, because if you sit on the fence, you're not ever going to do anything but get splinters in your butt.
Yes, ma'am.
And you don't want splinters in your butt. So the next time you come on this show, I want you to have a gig, and I want you to say, Yvonne, we're going to be at this place at this time on this date.
Okay.
I'm serious as a heart attack, because I will do all on my end to promote you, but I am serious, Daniel. You have a gift, and it is an amazing gift, and your songs are, they fill a person up. It's like food for a starving man.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that so much.
So it's time for you to do your part, my friend, and get your pickers together and go do some picking and singing. Because if you don't, I don't want you to be one of those people at the end of your days that you say, I shoulda, woulda, coulda, because if I'm around, I'm going to say, well, you know, this old white woman tried to tell you to, and you were too stubborn to listen.
Okay.
So just go out there and do it.
Okay, I will.
What's the worst they can do? They can hate you. Well, it's like an unanswered question. You don't know the answer till you ask the question. Well, you don't know if they're going to love you until you get in front of them. People, it's like I said, we are the brand, not our product. Our product is a byproduct of us, but we are the brand, and people want to see the brand. They want to see Daniel Paul.
Okay, I get it. It sounds great to me.
Okay, well, let's make it happen, my friend.
Okay.
Now, since we are getting toward the end of our show, if you can believe that, the hour is just rapidly flying by, and it happens because we have, like I said, it's why we call it Off the Chain, because we have so much fun. The hour goes by so fast, and because I'm just so in love with your music, and yes, ladies and gentlemen, it's called the Daniel Paul Band, and it's Under the Nashville Moon, and Daniel's going to tell you where he can be found, and he's going to tell you where you can go and buy the music. And yes, y'all can buy it internationally in over 70 countries. So help the man out. Let's show him some love. Either that, or I'm going to kick him all the way to a gig somewhere if I have to go to Michigan and do it myself.
Yep.
So where can you be found, my friend? Because I want people to find you. I want them to find your music. I want them to hook up with you on Facebook.
Well, you can listen and buy the music on cdbaby.com. You can find it on Spotify. You can find it on iTunes, Amazon Music, I think Google Music. There's almost every store you can think of that should have it by now online, and we're only charging $5 for the CD or 99 cents for each individual song. I'd put prices out there $5 because the fact that I want people to enjoy it, not suffer through it.
You know what else I want you to do? I want you to set up a YouTube channel and make some YouTube videos.
That's we have. If you go to Google and you Google Under the Nashville Moon, you'll find I did a night with quite a few actual songwriters. It was just basically playing guitar and singing, but the video producer took the studio. I did. If you go to Google and type in Under the Nashville Moon, Daniel Paul Band, it should come up and you'll see it, and there's 3 people on stage. It's just an acoustic thing. Well, my video producer at that time in Nashville took the studio version and synced it up with me singing on stage and put the whole band in instead of just acoustic. He kind of cheated.
Well, that's okay.
There is a video up there of Under the Nashville Moon by Daniel Paul. And
well, I want you to do some more videos because you would not, and then put them up on your Facebook page, and I will go and find them, and I'll put them up on my Facebook page, and I will tag you in it so that it will fill over to your page. That is exactly how one of my favorite pop singers, Adele, got popular.
Yeah. Also, you can go to reverbnation.com /Daniel Paul, and you'll find I've got a lot of my songs up there that you can listen to for free. You can't buy them there, but you can listen to them. And that's and also if you go to Facebook and you type in Under the Nashville Moon Music Group, it'll come up to Under the Nashville Moon Music Group, and I post songs up there, but there's no videos. It's just there's some few of my friends and people I know also post songs up there, but it also they get typed there, and hopefully I do have a website, but it's not up right now. It's down. UnderTheNashvilleMoon.com should be up in probably 30 days or so again.
And then people can find you under Daniel Paul, can't they?
Daniel Paul on Facebook, and then Daniel Paul Band on the sites where you want to buy it, listen and buy them. It's under the Daniel Paul Band, and it's the title of the CD is Under the Nashville Moon.
And ladies and gentlemen, the songs we played tonight are just 4 of his many, many wonderful, wonderful songs. Let's help this gentleman succeed, because he is so worth our time, our effort, and our money, and he is going to book some gigs, because I don't think anybody warned him about me that I make things happen and people don't say no to me, and so I expect you to have some gigs in the wings by the time we talk again.
Okay. We're working on trying to get some funding for some regular videos and that, so I'm working on that the next 30 days or so.
Well, don't hang up when the show goes dark, but I do want to say thank you so much, my dear new friend, for spending an hour with me. It's been my honor and my pleasure, and it's so wonderful that you've allowed me to promote you tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, next Wednesday night, we start all over again. On Wednesday night, we have author Bob Dixon. On Thursday night, we have a gentleman named Colin Martin. He is with the Satanic Players Society. Friday night, we have author Violet Howe. And Saturday night, we have blogger Donna Antonio. So join us at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And you all know at the end of every show there's a few things that I say. And one of those things is if you want to achieve greatness, stop asking permission, because nobody's going to give it to you. You just have to go out and do it. And the difference between who you are today and who you want to be tomorrow is what you do today. So if you want to do something different, to be somebody different tomorrow, then I suggest you change what you do today. Your smile is your logo. Your personality is your business card. And the way that you leave others feeling after having had an experience with you, ladies and gentlemen, that is indeed your trademark. People will forget your name. They will forget how you look. But they will never, ever, ever forget how you made them feel. And, Daniel, I hope that tonight I have made you feel like you would, because you are special. And this is something else I say. Don't just feel special. Be special. You are special. And I hope you understand that. And I hope that you go away from this experience ready to rock and roll and sing country music and make your dream even more real than it is now.
Thank you very much for having me on the show. And I'm so happy I met you. And I want to thank Garrett Walker for introducing us.
He is absolutely amazing, and you will become a regular on this show, so I don't think you're going to get away from me that easy, because we're going to play your music and we're going to continue talking, because the next time you come on the show, you're going to say, Yvonne, I'm going to be at this place on this time on this day, and we're going to just promote the daylights out of it.
Okay, sounds great to me.
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, join us again on Wednesday night at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, when our guest will be Bob Dixon. See, I can't talk anymore tonight. I'm brain stupid. And remember that December the 11th at 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, best-selling author James Swain will be on my show, so put that on your calendars. So until Wednesday night at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, this is your host, Yvonne Mason, with Off the Chain, and my guest, Daniel Paul, saying good evening. Now, Daniel, we're off the air, and so what will happen, and all that we're talking about will go up in the archives, is when we close the show and we get off the phone, the show will go up in archives. When it goes up in archives, I'm going to put it on my Facebook page and tag you in the link, just like I've been tagging you all day about the show tonight.
Okay.
And I want you to take that, and I want you to promote it and promote it and promote it. And then tomorrow I'm going to put up the show on 5 different podcasts. It's going to be up on Spreaker, SoundCloud, Mixcloud, Podcast.com, and Podcast Garden. When I put the show up on those 5 podcasts, I will also put the link up on my page and tag you in it. And I want you to take those links and promote it and promote it and promote it. That's why we're heard in over 70 countries. The show automatically goes up on YouTube, on my YouTube channel, on iTunes, on FM.com, and on TuneIn Radio. And it also goes up on some other podcasts that I don't have anything to do with. Other people load it up. So you're going to get out there. There is no doubt in my mind that you're going to get out there. But the key is for you to take these 6 links that I'm going to send you and promote the daylights out of it. Put it on your Over the Nashville Moon page, on your website, on your page. Tell folks to go listen. And because we played some beautiful music tonight, we talked for a while, and you're coming back, so you will get a following on this show. Okay. I appreciate it very, very much. And that my wife was anxious to hear it, too, so I'll let her listen to one of the recasts then. Absolutely. It should take about 5 minutes. Once we close out the show, it should take about 5 minutes for it to upload. I'll put it on my page, and I'm going to tag you in it and say it's in archives, and then she can go and listen to it. Okay. Can you also send me a link or just what podcast that was again? The podcast that it's going up tomorrow on is Podcast Garden, Podcast.com, SoundCloud, Mixcloud, and Spreaker, and those will go up tomorrow because it takes me about an hour to get it all up. But as soon as this archives, I'll put it up on my page and tag you in it. You can go in immediately, and she can listen to it. Okay. Well, thank you very much, Yvonne. I appreciate it, and God bless you, man. I'll tell you what, you're doing a great thing. Well, thank you, because the show is about you, my friend. It's all about you. Thank you. You are welcome, and we will be talking later. Okay. Thank you very much, and have a great night, and celebrate your winning team. And you celebrate getting your gigs. Okay, I will. Okay. All right, sweetheart. Talk later. Bye. Bye. Good night.